The girl was shocked to discover that after the car accident, she had somehow ended up in a game world. Even worse, she had become a level 99 ultimate villain boss. According to the original storyline, she would be defeated by the protagonist team. To survive, Sophie began frantically leveling up. Only by becoming strong enough could she defeat the protagonist team. At 2 years old, she would sneak out of the house every day. She chose the weakest slimes as her opponents. Surprisingly, a single small magic spell was enough to eliminate them. Sophie picked up the magic stones dropped by the slimes. These were the world's universal currency, which could buy various equipment. Her first successful battle gave Sophie a huge confidence boost. From then on, she spent every day grinding and leveling up. Sophie sold the magic stones to buy items. First, she bought growth bracers, which greatly improved her leveling efficiency. When challenging the dungeon alone, Sophie was still worried about whether she could defeat the monsters. As it turned out, she was overthinking. Ordinary monsters couldn't even withstand 3 attacks. After 2 minutes, all the monsters had turned into magic stones. Sophie used the magic stones to buy a phantom flute, which could summon even stronger monsters. This day after day, grinding lifestyle continued until Sophie turned 15. Today was enrollment day, and the game's storyline officially began. Sophie had hoped to hide her strength and keep a low profile, but the school tradition was to test levels during the entrance ceremony. Having loved this game in her previous life, she knew all the storylines inside and out. Now that she had the ability to protect herself, as long as she acted carefully, she wouldn't repeat the death ending from the game. She never imagined that exposing her level would lead to everyone questioning her. This was completely different from the game's storyline. The testing ceremony began. First was Anna at level 1. Then Kevin took the stage, and the results shocked everyone. Kevin had actually reached level 10. Sophie was speechless, thinking to herself whether level 10 was really that impressive. When it was Sophie's turn to test, she stood still. The principal thought she was nervous and comforted her, saying that level 1 or 2 was perfectly normal. The principal had no idea he would be proven completely wrong by Sophie's results. The principal stared in shock at the level 99 result. He thought the equipment had malfunctioned. They brought backup equipment for a retest, but the result was still level 99. The entire venue erupted. Even after testing twice, everyone still didn't believe Sophie. The students below had the same attitude. The principal said that the afternoon's practical combat class would verify whether Sophie's level was real. Despite everyone's doubts, Sophie didn't care at all. At worst, she could just go to another country. After the opening ceremony's group meal, Sophie was isolated and left the dining hall alone. Kevin caught up to her, thinking Sophie was just trying to get attention. The second prince also followed them out. The second prince accused Sophie of trampling on Kevin's efforts. They had known each other since childhood, and he knew Kevin had worked harder than others to reach level 10. Sophie couldn't be bothered to argue. She said her level was indeed real. But Sophie's words were met with doubt again. The third male protagonist also appeared. He was equally suspicious of Sophie. Seeing that the 3 didn't believe her, Sophie changed the subject, pointing to a girl in the distance who seemed troubled. Sure enough, all 3 were attracted by the game's original female protagonist and gave up their questioning. The next day, Sophie was isolated by the entire class, but she thought it would be nice to spend 3 years quietly like this. She noticed that the protagonist team's relationships had become closer. Anna was the game's female protagonist, possessing rare light magic. Despite being a commoner, she gained admission because light magic was the demon lord's only weakness. Strangely, when Anna saw Sophie, she showed an unusual